What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we're taking a look at the Ripple XRP price chart. The markets have been so crazy over the last week. We haven't given XRP the attention it deserves. But today I've been reading through a lot of the court documents that were filed throughout the weekend and reading through what a lot of the different people in the community had to say about this stuff. I was under the weather this weekend. I spent the entire day of Saturday in bed. So it felt like I've just kind of been playing catch up at this point, but I've got caught up to what happened within the courts. We also had our weekly candle close and we had our monthly candle close over here on the XRP price chart, both of them looking fantastic. As you guys know, we've been looking at this 3-year resistance level to see if we could confirm it as a support. Well, we did on the weekly time frame. They're able to hold 2 candle closes above that price level as well. Last night we got our monthly candle close and well, that held as well. So things are looking positive right now that we've cracked through 3 years worth of resistance, spent a few weeks building a support on top, but we're kind of just at the mercy of consolidation at this point for it to round its way on out of there. But otherwise, it's a nice sight to see that even through all the chaos of what happened in this market, that here we are still sitting right on top of that price level that we talked about for several weeks. So for me right now, when it comes to the XRP price chart, kind of just waiting for the consolidation to wrap up down here and then for us to start moving our way back up into the retracement. There's a few things that I'll be looking for. Of course, you guys know I always look for my standard stuff, right? I'm always looking to say, hey, can we break through the 702 Fibonacci retracement and keep going higher? But there's other things I'm looking for. I'm trying to look for similarities that have happened in the past. In particular, we have this breakout that happened back in here and this breakout that happened back in here. And there were 2 different things that happened in here. So I want to make sure that I keep my expectations in check so that when we start moving back up to the upside, I don't get overly excited if we're just ranging. But of course, if there's something to celebrate, I want to know about it and know that we're breaking out of there. But everything comes back to, of course, once again, the 618, 702, and 786 Fibonacci retracement levels, which is going to be between $1.46 and $1.68. Considering we've used this fractal so much that showed us that we had pulled back down to that price level, let's take a look at what happened in this one right in here so we can get an idea of what the recovery looked like before it broke out. And we could see that it actually came right back up to the 702 retracement. So you can see it got through 702, 786, it bounced around in here, but it was finally, once after it consolidated underneath this level, getting through 702 and really cracking out was when this thing started going. That's kind of our optimal scenario, right? That's where it just kind of goes right back up in there, gets right up in here, and then it starts firing its way out. I think that's what we're all waiting for. A lot of us in the XRP community have watched this bull run take place. We've been kind of sitting behind, waiting our turn, not getting our turn yet. I think that's the optimal scenario for all of us, of course, right? But as somebody who has been in the 2017 bull run, I also remember what this was like, and this was pretty rough as well. And in this time period, we kept firing back up, but we could never get through there. And with this one, we kept getting back to the 618 retracement level and then turning on ourselves. 618 turning on ourselves, not quite to 618 turning on ourselves. And so what we noticed down in here on this one is that it immediately fired all the way up to the upper boundary or to the highest Fibonacci retracement, just took a small step back and then was able to break through it. Whereas on this consolidation, we got up to 618 and then kept pulling back. So if we head over to current times, I'll get these off of here. What we saw happen in the first blast off that took us higher is that when XRP came out of here, it went all the way up to here. And then once it got in there, it just kind of had to step back a little bit before it then eventually broke its way out. However, in the longer consolidation that happened, XRP kept firing to here and then pulling back. Here, then pulling back. So while this isn't a foolproof method on saying, hey, if we get up here, we're definitely going to be breaking out, these are the 2 things I have to reference back for when it comes to the retracement levels, right? The retracement levels are always the most important thing for me. It's once we can get through that last one that I can start getting really excited. But I think all of us would love for it to happen much faster than much later. And so here's the 2 different scenarios we've seen in the past of when XRP went on to make another giant leg to the upside, what happened both those times. In the scenario where it happened really quickly, we fired all the way up, which would be to about $1.68, consolidated for a little while, and then kept going. In the much longer consolidation, we only came up to about $1.46 and then kept hovering underneath there. So long as we're under the 618, my expectations remain that, okay, we don't know which one's going to be happening, or at least we don't have a reference point to know which one's going to happen. But if we do get through here, we can start kind of hooting and hollering and cheerleading that maybe we're going to be breaking out right now, and that this is just going to consolidate and go. So for me right now, the big number is $1.46. That's where the 618 retracement is. If we can get through there, we start looking at these last retracements up to $1.69. If we can get through $1.69, hopefully that's it, and all systems are go. So long as we stay below $1.46, we have to assume consolidation will continue based on what we've seen, based on retracements, and based on my experiences in the market. And the reason why I'm trying to show this before we start doing any type of retracing, so long as we do some type of retracing from here, is that when I was in the 2017 bull run, this thing was rough. This thing was real tough in here. When you saw these big explosions show up right in here, you thought this was it for sure. This is it. Look how fast it's going. We're flying. Holy moly, these things don't take long at all. And then suddenly it stops. Then you'd think this time is it for sure. This time is it for sure. No, which shouldn't be anything new for anybody who went through the 2018, 19, and 20 bear market, because we had that same thing happen the whole time we've been in here. But if we just use retracements and we go based on the breakouts that we saw during previous bull runs and where were the retracement levels that had significant matter to them in this breakout, it was about getting through $1.46, getting up to $1.69 of equivalent pricing. Then it continued surging. And then for this one, it got stuck under $1.46 of equivalent pricing. So that's what I'll be looking for as we are now starting to finish and round out this thing down in here and start seeing what the retracements look like. Hopefully we can just crack through $1.46, start working our way, and move on out. But as we all know, there's still the SEC stuff hanging over the heads of Ripple and XRP. A lot of exchanges don't have XRP available for United States residents. So of course, the big thing we're looking for is that this case can get wrapped up, either concluded or settled, and we could see XRP back on all of the exchanges. Then that begs the question of, how much influence does that really have on the price, or is the timing of this all going to get wrapped up at just the right time? I don't know. It's one of those things that's completely out of my control, but I can try to look to optimistic things to try to wrap my head around it and understand it, even though I'm not a lawyer. And I have to say, the people in this community who have made it easier to understand, I'm so grateful, because I would have no idea if these things had any value to them or not. I saw this post over here by James K. Philon. Sorry if I got that wrong, at Philon Law. But, over the weekend, Judge Sarah Netburn filed a document saying the Securities and Exchange Commission seeks an order compelling Ripple Labs to produce all communications constituting, transmitting, or discussing any legal advice Ripple sought or received as to whether its offers and sales of XRP were or would be subject to federal securities laws, and the motion is denied. So essentially, the SEC was trying to say, if Ripple wants to raise this fair notice defense, then we should be allowed to look at the email communications between Ripple and their lawyers to see if their lawyers advised them regarding XRP being a security, and the judge has denied the SEC's request. Now, as a regular person, not having any idea what any of that means, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool, they can't look at some emails. And of course, Jeremy Hogan chimed in on all of this, who has been my resource to understanding why it's even significant at all, and he has reiterated that the fair notice defense is super critical. And here he stated, judge denies the SEC's motion to compel production of Ripple's lawyer opinion letters. Very important, because the judge states Ripple's subjective beliefs regarding XRP are not relevant to the fair notice defense, blocking the road the SEC wanted to use to fight the defense. And when I read through this, I was kind of reading, what she was citing to and references where maybe they could look at, lawyer emails, or where they couldn't look at lawyer privileged emails. And that a lot of it really just stems down to, as well, is that there is an exchange out there, don't know which one it is, that sought advice from the SEC regarding XRP being a security. And the SEC did not provide that exchange clarity on whether or not it is or isn't, and the exchange went on to list XRP. And that it took the SEC 8 years to come out and file this complaint against Ripple, and that due process requires that a law give ordinary people fair notice of the conduct it punishes. And how could an ordinary person have fair notice if an exchange inquired with the SEC regarding XRP's security status, the SEC not providing a big fat no, don't do it, then the exchange goes on to list XRP. Where is the fair notice? How could anybody have actually known at that time? So I think the judge did a good job, kind of like, of course, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if it is a good job. I'll need to ask Jeremy Hogan, but making it clear, I think she can see that what has happened and that, you know what, these emails don't even matter. There's a much bigger issue here going on outside of what happened with Ripple's emails between their lawyers, because falling back on just looking at those emails and hiding behind those emails and claiming this is your entire defense or your attack strategy when there's a whole lot more other things going on in here, that the judge did not want to provide the SEC the opportunity to just hide behind the emails, but that there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be addressed in here. And so Jeremy has constantly said, I've heard him say how this fair notice defense is so important and that this is a major victory for Ripple. And yesterday he had posted over here on Twitter, a little secret of the US court system, not even 10% of cases can be tried. Judges are always pressuring lawyers to settle because the truth is the system would collapse if more cases had to be tried. There simply aren't enough resources. True for both civil and criminal cases, in which he was retweeting 96% of all SEC cases are settled before trial, 60% before litigation, and 90% in discovery. You think this weak case is an exception and belongs to the 4% that end in trial? Please elaborate. And I remember Jeremy saying, when it comes down to these time periods, you're fighting tooth and nail for everything. Whether or not you're going to be going to trial or not going to trial, you're going to fight tooth and nail over everything you possibly can so that when maybe it does come time to sit down at the settlement table, you can show your cards or you can show what you got left on the chessboard. If one person still has their queen, 2 rooks, and a bishop, and the other person only has a knight and 2 pawns, well, that's where you've got to get to before you decide if this is going to be over or not. You can't settle when everybody still has all of their pieces on the board. A lot of them have got to get knocked down first before you can say, it looks pretty probable if we go to trial, I'm going to win. Or it looks pretty probable if we continue this chess match, I'm going to win. But the other person can still claim, yeah, but it's not for certain. And I would think if the SEC was the opponent that had the knight and the 2 pawns, you probably wouldn't want to keep playing until that knight is gone. And you'd want to settle just before that happened. I don't know. That's kind of the analogy I think of it when it comes to this, because I'm not experienced in any of this type of court stuff. But what we're watching them do is fight and fight and fight until probably, it seems, since it's most likely, from a statistical standpoint, 96% of all SEC cases are settled before trial, that there's a 96% chance this thing is going to settle, that they're just trying to get all of their pieces knocked down until it finally comes to the point to say, look what you've got, look what I've got, what are we going to do? And well, when is that going to happen on the chart, right? We don't really know what phase they are in that time period, right? When are they going to make the call? How far can this go for each party to save face, right? But otherwise, things are just looking optimistic overall for XRP over the week, holding above that support level. Positive stuff happening over there in court with Judge Netburn. Ugly week for crypto for sure, but I guess that's what it took for us to get back down to that support level. And so as we move forward, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the thing I'm going to be watching for is what happens at the retracement levels like we always do. And that the examples that we have show that 146 is a very interesting price level that led to a significant longer amount of consolidation during 2017, really from like May all the way till December. It was like a 7-month consolidation underneath that price level. However, in the example where once we hit this bottom and fired straight on out of here, well, that 146 had really no significant resistance there at all. It was more about pausing up in here in this $1.68 area and then blasting out. So those are the things that I'll be watching for, and whether or not I can turn on my excitement or not once we get back up in here. But that's what we're looking at, $1.46 for the 618 and then $1.68 for the 786. And of course, a nice surprise settlement would surely be welcomed. But all right, guys, that's it. That's going to wrap it up for this one. I hope that you're doing well. Of course, you guys know about BC Backer. For those who are enrolled in it, I did add an update video yesterday, May 31st. Bitcoin falls, altcoin market follows, in which we discuss about everything that happened in May, the bullish arguments, the bearish arguments for the market, and just kind of deep dive into what exactly happened happen throughout the month. I've been trying to add those updates once a month for you guys. If you're enrolled in it, that is available for you. If you are interested in getting my course, of course, you can get that at bcbacker.com. This is my course where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the different altcoin market cycles, tying them all together to talk about the different alt seasons, talk about mathematics, percentages, rebalances, my exit plans. I teach you how to set up your own tools and indicators in TradingView and CoinTrader Pro in here so you can set up your own charts. You can check that out on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was kind of a positive video. I thought this was pretty good. I like this one. But all right, thank you guys so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.